Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Wellness Foreplay. We are Dr. Dondi and Marcy Nettles, and we are your podcast hosts today, and we are so excited. In fact, let's say we're energized to share our topic with you today.
Yes, we are. So what Wellness Foreplay is it's me with my background of being a police detective and you.
And my background of being a family wellness chiropractor.
Bringing our expertise together and doing the investigations to come up with the information and the knowledge that we know is the foreplay to your most optimal wellness. And so we are here to share some really great information with you today on episode number 36. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
I can't believe that it's 36 already. But today we're going to be talking about, waking up tired. And what is the most common remedy, right? I'm sure that many of you out there, whether you're watching us live on Facebook or YouTube, or you're listening to us on the podcast, that you're probably got several different ones going through your mind right now. But today we're going to be talking about, waking up tired. And what people reach for, right?
Yeah.
So the way we do this podcast is the reason why it's foreplay. It's actually FOUR, by the way. Where did your dirty mind just go, right? No, it's because we pick one topic and then we have 4 specific questions that we ask around that topic. So again, today, episode 36 is all about waking up tired and what is the most common things people reach for.
And the reality of it is whether you sleep 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours or more, most people, when that alarm clock goes off, hit snooze because they're still tired.
Right.
So that should be the first warning sign. If you're waking up tired, well, first of all, what is sleep for? Sleep is to refresh you, to rejuvenate you, to re-energize you, and you should leap out of bed with all that energy, rejuvenation, and healing going on, but most people wake up tired. So what's the issue that we're really talking about?
Good question. So the 4 questions that we're going to actually be addressing today are: first, why are coffee and energy drinks so popular? Second, what health risks are associated with drinking coffee and energy drinks? Third, how much caffeine is found in common coffee and energy drink brands? And then fourth, is there a healthy alternative to energy? So, are you ready to get started?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So, question number 1, why are coffee and energy drinks so popular? Oh gosh, there's really
because they wake you up.
Yeah, there's 2 different things in there that make them really popular. But that's the thing about energy drinks. They're actually really widely promoted, first of all, because people do wake up tired and they want more energy. And there's a lot of brands out there that spend a lot of money on advertising.
Yeah.
And when you have it in front of you all of the time, that's where you go to be able to get your energy. So what are the things that are in coffee and energy drinks that really draw people to them?
Well, the primary ingredient they're going after is caffeine.
Yeah.
So
pick me up, right?
How do you know that? Because, first of all, most people reach for the coffee, or they get out of bed, rub their sleep out of their eyes, they go downstairs and they hit go, or they turn the power on the coffee pot, or if they've got the programmable one, it's already made. And as they're going down the stairs, they smell that aroma of whatever kind of Arabica beans or whatever it is. It's the caffeine. It's the first thing you reach for in the morning. And it works. That's the reality of it. So and I'll get a little doctorly on this. So in your brain, you have receptors. They're called adenosine receptors. And when adenosine, which is made by your brain, binds to the receptors, it actually slows down the nervous system tissue or the nerve cells. So you start to get tranquil. You start to relax. When that happens, it opens up the blood vessels in your brain. So oxygen can come in and allow you to go into the sleep space. But guess what? Caffeine binds to the same receptors. It fools your brain. So caffeine, within 10 to 15 minutes of drinking your cup of Java, caffeine binds to the adenosine receptors in your brain, speeding them up. It speeds up the nervous system cells, the brain cells. And what does that do? It leads to energy, but it leads to other things too. Because when those cells speed up, the pituitary gland, which is inside your brain, thinks there's an emergency going on. And so the pituitary gland secretes a hormone called ACTH, or adrenocorticotropic hormone. Now, what does that do? The ACTH in your blood tells your adrenal glands, which sit right above your kidneys, to produce adrenaline. Adrenaline in the brain is also known as epinephrine. You've ever heard of EpiPens? What do EpiPens do for you? It brings people awake. It gives them energy. Like if somebody's an asthmatic and they're having a hard time breathing, EpiPens are utilized. Epinephrine is utilized to open up those airways, right? So adrenaline goes into your bloodstream, which is energy. What does that do? It also causes your liver to dump glucose. We talked about that on last episode. The liver dumps glucose into the body, which is another source of energy because your cells burn the glucose to create ATP. That is energy. So the caffeine energy creates a whole cascade of other energy. Well, here's the problem. What happens like an hour and a half, 2 hours later when that caffeine-induced adrenaline wears off?
You want a nap.
We're talking the crash.
Right.
Well, guess what people do for the crash? It's still morning. Pour another cup of coffee. And it starts that whole cycle over again. Well, when you get through the morning, towards lunch for the rest of the day, now a lot of times people switch, at least the older people. The younger kids start off with energy drinks and stay with energy drinks.
All day long.
And so most of the older adults, we're talking between 18 and 25, something like that, the kids in that area, mostly men, mostly males, go for the energy drinks, but other people go for the energy drinks after the coffee wears off because, again, it's that crash, and then the jitters that come along with that. So there are some positives, but there's also some significant negatives that come along with that.
You know, I found some numbers actually on age groups of people that consume energy drinks. And it was really kind of interesting, and a little bit scary too. It actually says that men between ages of 18 and 34 years consume the most energy drinks. So 18 to 34. We're in our 50s, and we consume. By the way, we are not against caffeine whatsoever. We just want to make sure that you're aware. Yeah, we just want to make sure that you're aware of what caffeine can be doing to you, pro and con, right? Mm-hmm. And then it says almost 1/3 of teens between the ages of 12 and 17 drink caffeinated drinks regularly. Remember what Dondi said about sleep and how it can kind of interfere with those kinds of things? Gosh, if you have a child, you know, that is not sleeping well, you might want to investigate how much caffeine they are consuming on a daily basis, because more than likely, that's the culprit. Wouldn't you say?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, caffeine does have some positive effects. It gives you some mental clarity. It gives you attention span, greater focus and concentration abilities because the first thing you're doing when you're on your way to work is you're drinking your coffee. You get to work, you got to focus, right? You got to do your job duties. It works well for that. Opens up the airways to allow you to get more oxygen into your body. But what else does caffeine do? It constricts the blood vessels on the surface of your skin because your body thinks, again, remember the pituitary gland thinks there's an emergency going on. So it sends those signals, which is the fight or flight mechanism. Mm-hmm. Right? The adrenaline triggers the fight or flight. The surface of your skin, the blood vessels constrict because you don't want, if you get cut in a fight, you don't want to bleed out. It stops the blood going to your stomach. So digestion stops. It just puts all the blood in your core. Well, all of those are great things. The problem is the chronic nature of that because you're not really in fight or flight. It's the caffeine triggering the adrenaline, triggering the crash afterward, which brings more caffeine, more adrenaline, more crash. You're in a chronic state of fight or flight, and you have adrenal fatigue. You have all kinds of other problems that can lead to this.
But, you know, part of what makes these products popular is that all these effects that Dondi's talking about can also be addictive.
Yes, they can.
Your body can become so used to having that high and that rush of energy and that feeling of like, let's go, 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 that you just want to keep putting it in you, keep putting it in you, and keep putting it in you. And so that's one of the reasons why, coffee and these energy drinks are so popular, is because of the responses that happen inside of our bodies that can become addictive. And, they do provide you with some short-term focus, some short-term clarity. But as Dondi said, most likely, more times than not, you will experience a drop after you've consumed the coffee and energy drinks.
Now that was a totally perfect unscripted segue on the addictive part of caffeine, because why is that? People don't really know, why is caffeine addictive?
How about if we go to question number 2 as you answer that, because this is, it's what health risks are associated.
Okay. I don't want to forget it though.
Okay. No, you can actually take that right off the bat. So question number 2 is, what health risks are associated with drinking coffee and energy drinks? So go.
Addiction.
Yeah.
Why? Because as this whole cascade, the caffeine binding to the adenosine receptors, triggering the increased activity of the neurons, the cells of your brain, triggering the pituitary gland, thinking it's in fight or flight, thinking there's an emergency going on, triggering the ACTH hormone, which triggers the adrenal gland to release adrenaline. All of that cascade has another approach or another variable. It's called dopamine. It increases dopamine because it slows down the brain's absorption of dopamine. Dopamine is the feel-good hormone. Dopamine is why you are addicted to your comments and likes and shares and notifications. It's the reason why whoever invented notifications is because every time you get a notification, whether it vibrates, pings, or lets you know a number, you get a dopamine drip. It creates curiosity. It's satisfying something, which is why cell phone behavior and texting and all those things can be addictive. It's the dopamine component, which regular use of caffeine, chronic use, consistent use of caffeine can lead to addiction because of the feel-good connection with dopamine.
Yeah. Okay. So in my investigation here, I found a really amazing article that we'll also link in the show notes of this call, of this episode, so that you can have this information for yourself, because there's some really good resources here. So the NIH, which is the National Institute of Health, their National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health, has an article on energy drinks. And in this, it says that consuming energy drinks raises important safety concerns, that actually between 2007 and 2011, the number of energy drink related visits to the emergency department doubled. And that was clear back in 2011, guys. There's so many more energy drinks, so many more products on the market now, so many more people consuming them, that I am sure that those numbers have skyrocketed tremendously. And that about 25% of college students consume alcohol with energy drinks, and they binge drink significantly more often because they do not feel the effect of the alcohol that is actually happening inside of their body, but because of the extra stimulation, because of the caffeine, they aren't feeling how intoxicated they actually are. And then there's also safety concerns around large amounts of caffeine may cause serious heart and blood vessel problems, such as heart rhythm disturbances, increases in heart rate and blood pressure. It says that caffeine may also harm children's still developing cardiovascular and nervous systems. This is another reason why we've got to be really careful about how much caffeine our children are consuming. And that caffeine may also be associated with anxiety, sleep problems, digestive problems, dehydration. Another concern about caffeine is that when you're looking at the things that you're consuming, and it says there's a certain milligrams of caffeine inside of that product, there's also other ingredients that may be in what you're consuming that is a caffeine source, but it's not being reported on the label because it has a different name, like guarana. Right?
Yeah, guarana's it's an herb. I think it's originally from Argentina, but it has caffeine in it. So that caffeine compounded on the other, it can add up.
But it's not normally included in the amount of caffeine milligrams that's being reported on the product. So if you see guarana in that product ingredients, then know that the caffeine that you are consuming is actually much more than what is listed on the actual product, right? And then again, when you consume alcohol with an energy drink, you are more likely to take risks and to not understand how intoxicated you are. And so getting behind the wheel of a car is much more common with people that drink or mix their drinks with energy drinks and alcohol. There's a higher level of sexual promiscuity. Yes. And so just risk taking is elevated when you mix alcohol with energy drinks.
Well, I think I want to elaborate on that.
Okay, go ahead.
And why that is. Because alcohol is classified as a sedative. Alcohol slows your blood pressure down, calms you down, slows brain activity down. But caffeine in energy drinks and the sugar that comes in energy drinks is a stimulant that increases mental activity, increases mental energy. So when you've got literally opposing forces, they counteract each other, but they also contradict each other. So the alcohol, the sedation that you're getting because of the stimulant is being masked. So you literally drink more alcohol or have the tendency to drink more alcohol, getting more of that blood alcohol level raising when you drink it with energy drinks because it counteracts the sedative effect. But on the other side of the equation, the mental activity, the mental stimulation is also brought down a little bit because of the sedative nature of the alcohol. So they're kind of holding each other back. But the cumulative effect is what leads to increased hospital visits, overloading the brain, overloading the heart, overloading the blood pressure, and overriding your natural tendency to say, no, I'm feeling a little like I probably shouldn't be driving. That extra stimulation is counteracting those things. They can be very problematic. When you put a sedative and a stimulant together and you consume them together, they can create all kinds of problems.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
100%. So another thing that we haven't mentioned yet when we're talking about coffee and energy drinks is that how often do you drink just a black cup of coffee, right? How often do you add in extra calories in either creamers and how many of those creamers are sweetened with sugar, or you're actually adding extra sugar? They actually say that a single 16-ounce container of an energy drink may contain 54 to 62 grams of added sugar. And if you remember last episode 35, that was all about sugar, the dangers of sugar in your diet, right? And that you should really try to have only, was it 12 grams? 12 grams is a max in a daily consumption of sugar. And they're saying there's 54 to 62 grams of added sugar in a 16-ounce container of energy drink. And so that's the known, that's actually in the manufactured product, right? The produced product. But when you yourself are mixing up a coffee and you're putting in the creamer that is sugar induced with the sweeteners and all the different flavorings, you too are adding a lot of added sugar. And we talked about all the dangers of the excessive ingestion of sugar on the last episode. So go check that out if you haven't listened to episode 35.
With regard to this context of the sugar in specifically energy drinks, most of the time it's not sucrose. Sucrose is table sugar, just pure cane table sugar or derivative of that. It's most of the time it's fructose, or more specifically, high fructose corn syrup, which your body doesn't break down that well. And so what happens is your body will take that fructose, that high fructose corn syrup, what comes aplenty in an energy drink, and dumps it into the fat cells. Well, that raises cholesterol. It raises fat. So chronic use of these things started seeing significant weight gain, significant cholesterol issues, significant blood triglyceride issues, all from drinking energy drinks because of the super high sugar content.
Yeah. So before we move on to the next question, let's talk about what actually the FDA says is a safe amount of caffeine to consume on a daily basis. So they actually say that 400 milligrams, which is generally like 3 or 4 cups of coffee, right? It actually has 10 cans of cola. But remember, the quickest way to gain weight and become obese is drinking soda, right? That sugary soda. So 10 cans of cola or 2 energy shot drinks have the equivalent of 400 milligrams of caffeine, okay? Now that's if you're a healthy adult. that is the safe amount for you to be able to consume. It's definitely not a safe amount for children. And for pregnant women, they actually recommend that you reduce that amount down to under 200 milligrams of caffeine in a day's time. So make sure that you're really aware of how much caffeine that you are consuming. And there is differences in caffeine. I mean, you've got the caffeine that comes from cocoa beans, cacao beans. You also have the caffeine that comes from the guarana. You have caffeine that comes from tea leaves. And there is a difference in tea leaves even. You've got caffeine like in black tea that is much more higher in milligrams per amount that you're consuming than like green tea. Green tea is a more gentle, less caffeine, addiction-based caffeine.
Don't mess with my green tea.
I know, green tea is amazing. That's where we get our caffeine. Is green tea is what we go to on a regular basis in a product that we consume.
And our kombucha too.
Oh my gosh,
one of the secret ingredients.
It is.
She's the homebrew kombucha.
Queen. We have tons in the fridge right now. You guys should come over and have
3
some kombucha.
gallons brewing out there.
I mean, really, yeah. But we still have a lot in the fridge right now too.
We love it.
Oh my gosh, yes, seriously. Okay, so I think that we covered question 2 really, really well there. So let's go ahead and move into question number 3, which is how much caffeine is found in common coffee and energy drink brands? Get ready to have your ever-loving minds blown wide open on how much caffeine and how easy it is to consume way too much. Because guys, when you actually, and I think that I missed out on sharing what drinking too much caffeine can do for you. Just some of the basic things is you can have headaches, you can have insomnia, nervousness, irritability, frequent urination, or inability to control your urination. Who wants that? No, not me.
What just happened?
Dang. You can have a fast heartbeat, muscle tremors, jitters, so many things. But all of this extra consumption and what Dondi mentioned earlier about that fight or flight, always being in an elevated state of response in your nervous system, that can lead to heart problems and all kinds of different problems inside of your body. So definitely not things that you want. So how much caffeine is actually found in these different products? Well, I actually researched a bunch of energy drinks and a bunch of our top coffee brands. So are you ready? Seriously, I'm like getting ready to freak out about sharing this with you. So, okay, so how many of you know the energy drink Bang?
Oh, yeah.
It's a big one right now.
It's a big one.
It's a really big one right now. Did you know that there is 300 milligrams of caffeine in a 16-ounce can? 300 milligrams. I couldn't find how many calories were in that because there's a lot of calories because all the sugar and everything that's used in there as well. But 300 milligrams in a 16-ounce Bang. All right. How about cocaine energy drink? Doesn't that sound enticing?
They're
right?
Still around.
They are.
Wow.
So 280 milligrams of caffeine in 12 ounces. Keep in mind the amount of caffeine, even though it might seem like it's a less amount than another product. So like on Bang, it was 16 ounces. Now we're at 280 milligrams in only 12 ounces of this energy drink. Let's look at Full Throttle. 16 ounces has 160 milligrams of caffeine and 220 calories. Where do you think that's coming from? Can you say sugar? Yes, all over that. And then we've got Monster, 160 milligrams in 16 ounces and 210 calories, guys. NOS, we've got 160 milligrams in 16 ounces and 200 calories. So just keep an eye, think about all this. What are you drinking and what is this going to be doing to your body in the short term and the long term? Because if you consistently consume these drinks with that many calories, that much caffeine, you're going to have weight gain and you're going to have nervous system problems.
It's when we go to the gym every day and what is that 18 to 34 demographic is the ones that mostly drink energy drinks. Overhearing conversations, especially with the people at the front desk, and Bang is their favorite. They usually we get there right before 6 a.m. and the two guys behind the counter always have an open Bang sitting on the counter. Don't know what time their shift starts, but they talk about drinking 3 to 4 a day. 3 to 4 a day. That's just
And you said
crazy.
3 to 4 bangs a day?
Yeah.
Okay, so think about that. If they're drinking 3 to 4, that's 900 to 1,200 milligrams. Remember what the FDA said was a safe amount? 400. Right? So I mean, you guys have all seen the news over the past 4 or 5 years about all of the young adults and teenagers that have had to be rushed to the hospital because of heart attacks for consuming energy drinks. This is why. This is why. Right here.
Can I tell a story? A
Yeah,
quick story
story
without
time.
interrupting you?
Story time.
We have some friends that are former fire department EMTs. Tucson Fire Department EMTs, to be specific. And they shared stories with us when they were on duty. Not when the call was going on.
You're going to get messy, aren't you?
No, I'm not. No. No, they're not, responding to a fire or responding. They're just on downtime. And what they would do in the back of the ambulance, again, these are Tucson firefighter EMTs, not Tucson, Arizona, because that's too close to us. Tucson somewhere else. Since we're going to be specific, we're going to divert that specificity. But they would hook themselves up to the EKGs and down a couple. This was back when Red Bull was like the predominant market share in energy drinks, and watch how rapidly their EKGs changed. I mean, think about that. They've got the equipment, they've got the monitors, they're actually proving to themselves. And this exercise that they did, this decision that they did one time. And both of them looked at each other and were like, oh my gosh, they probably said some expletives and significantly ratcheted
holy
down.
Cheese balls.
Right. That's probably exactly what they said. And they significantly ratcheted down their energy drink consumption based on what they proved to themselves in real time. Now, again, I told you that was not here in Arizona. It's not the Tucson. This is not the Tucson you're thinking of. But these guys really did that and shared this with the story. This was like a 10-year-old story, but I can't believe they did that. But it significantly showed them what they were doing. And sometimes when they would show up on scene, specifically car accidents, motorcycle accidents, they could tell when someone had been drinking alcohol and had been drinking energy drinks and alcohol. There's a difference in how they respond. There's a difference in what they were like when they showed up on scene. But it was pretty interesting. I remember them telling me that story. I've never really liked energy drinks other than if I have to be driving through the night, they serve purpose.
Yeah.
I'd rather stay awake and get there on time than run off the road. So they do have a purpose, but it is interesting. The chronic use
I'm going to get back.
I'm
going to get back to the numbers here, okay?
Yes,
blowing your minds and just making you a little bit sick about what you've been consuming, right? So the last energy drink that we're going to talk about is Rockstar, and it actually has the most calories. There's 160 milligrams of caffeine per serving, and that's 16 ounces, and there's 250 calories in a single Rockstar, okay? Craziness. Now let's talk coffee.
Taurine involved.
All right, let's talk coffee. All right. So how about 7-Eleven brewed coffee? There's 280 milligrams of caffeine in a 16 ounce with 5 calories. That's your non-doctored coffee.
That's so just black coffee.
Wow. Okay. Baskin Robbins Cappuccino Blast has 234 milligrams of caffeine in a 24 ounce. So this is one of the more the larger sizes that I found. There's 470 calories in that baby, guys.
That's the ice cream.
470. Okay. And then there's the bottled iced coffee Dunkin' Donuts brand that has 171 milligrams of caffeine, 260 calories in only 13.7 ounces. That's only 13.7 ounces. 13.7. That's crazy. That's a super small serving size there. And then you have coffee bean and tea leaf coffee. This one kind of blew my mind because this is a black coffee. It's 333 milligrams of caffeine in 16 ounces and only 5 calories because it's the black coffee.
Yeah.
Crazy. Now this one right here, this is like somebody that just really has a death wish, and that's actually the name of the coffee.
Aptly named, yeah.
Death Wish Coffee has 728 milligrams of caffeine in only 12 ounces.
Wow. And no calories.
No calories.
Oh my goodness.
That's black coffee. 728 milligrams of caffeine. Remember what was safe? Remember what was safe was 400 or less per day. And this one has 728 milligrams in only 12 ounces.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I'm starting to wonder. I remember my sister gave me some Death Wish coffee for Christmas a couple years ago.
Do you think it was an ulterior? I don't think so.
I'm wondering. No,
I don't think so.
There definitely.
All right, so
not.
I've got a lot more here because there's a lot of brands of coffee out there, right? So Dutch Brothers coffee, 187 milligrams in a 20 ounce with 10 calories. How about McDonald's, where they serve it too hot and you can sue them? No, don't do that. McDonald's latte has 142 milligrams. 16 ounces and 190 calories, which you can get for about $99. I don't know. I don't buy it. And then there's the Mocha McDonald's. It's 167 milligrams of caffeine, 16 ounce, 380 calories. And then the regular coffee, which who would want to drink just the black coffee from McDonald's, 145 milligrams in 16 ounces. How about Pete's Iced Mocha, 165 milligrams, 16 ounces, 310 calories, guys. Do we wonder why we're gaining weight? This was not just the COVID-19. This is the choices that we're making, that we're putting inside of our bodies. It's not good on a caffeine level. It's not good on a sugar level. All the way around, it is just not good.
It's not good on a human level.
How about Starbucks bottled Frappuccino? 110 milligrams of caffeine, 13.7 ounces, small serving again, 300 calories. And then Starbucks Caramel Macchiato, 150 milligrams of caffeine, 16 ounces and 250 calories. And then their basic cold brew is 205 milligrams, 16 ounces, 5 calories. Guys, do you see what we're talking about?
Craziness.
Do you see what the compounded effect could be of consuming these energy drinks and coffee at the levels that people have been doing it and having the short-term energy, the massive drop at the end of it, and just going back for more and more? I mean, because that, just so you know, it's designed that way.
Yeah, it is.
It is designed to drop you hard on your rear end after you've consumed this caffeinated drink so that you'll go get another one. But the problem is when you go get another one, it's not just void of the caffeine that was in the first one. You're getting the same caffeine and you're getting the same sugar. So it's compounding the problem of these drinks. It's scary because our kids have access to this.
Yeah. It's just an awareness we want to give you guys, because with awareness, you can make different choices. And most of the time, the vendors, the people that make this stuff, aren't going to tell you.
And that's a great.
They're not going to tell you.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure we equip you with the information so you can make a better choice.
Because we've got a healthy option for you, okay? So is there a healthy energy alternative? And we are here to say absolutely. Absolutely. So remember we mentioned the difference between, regular caffeine and that can come from the coffee beans and the different guarana. How about green tea? Green tea,
I said, don't mess with my green tea.
Is an amazing alternative. It's just more gentle on your body. First of all, it doesn't give you that major rush, and it's not going to drop you the way the other caffeinated drinks and regular coffee does. So we want to actually share with you what we use every single day for our energy, for our mood, even because it gives us positive mood, helps give us better mental clarity and focus. It helps with memory retention. It helps with mental energy and physical energy. Great for pre-workout, post-workout. Decaf and caffeinated, so you can take the caffeinated in the morning, decaf in the afternoon, and it does not give you a drop at all throughout the day. Just sustainable energy. Gosh, can you explain what a nootropic is?
Nootropic is smart drugs. It's actually it's the term for smart drugs that are cognitive based, that help you think better, perform better. Nootropics, it's actually where you pronounce it nootropics, nootropics, however you want to pronounce it. It's Nootropics, but it's kind of a cool word for smart drugs.
Yeah.
Or smart ingredients that allow you to have better cognition. Caffeine, for example, is a nootropic. Nicotine is a nootropic in isolation. And that's why they're using it in certain medications, caffeine and nicotines. They're actually putting them in formulations of medications because of the nootropic increased cognitive abilities.
So now I want you to answer another question.
Because
you're bringing the doctor aspect of this. Is what's the difference between drinking an energy drink or using brain food? There's a big difference.
Well, when you use the right ones, you don't have all the other variables. The increased adrenaline, the increased blood sugar from the liver dumping into the blood. You don't have the crash because of the caffeine-induced adrenaline because of the pituitary secretion of ACTH. You bypass all of that stuff. Number one, because of the significant amounts, you have a reduced amount of caffeine because you don't really need that much to have improved cognition. And sometimes they say more is better, and other times it's just not. It's just not, especially when it exceeds the daily recommended amount. And I'll talk about that too because of the half-life. Caffeine has about a 6-hour half-life. To get half of it over 6 hours, and for the next 6 hours, it will wear off altogether. But it's about 12-hour cycle. It peaks in about 45 minutes to an hour, and then half of its potency after 6 hours, which is also why you need to look at your bedtime, or the bedtime you ideally you're targeting for. Take off 6 hours and don't have any caffeine after that time if you want to sleep properly, because it's not just sleep, it's the deep sleep. And if you have things like this, if you have wearable technology that tells you how many minutes you're in REM sleep, how many minutes you're in deep sleep, how many minutes you're in whatever sleep pattern, you're looking for how much deep sleep. That's important. And caffeine too late in the day will really affect your deep sleep patterns. If you're having a problem falling asleep, staying asleep, and getting a good night's sleep, look at your caffeine consumption. Take the time you want to go to bed, subtract 6 hours, and don't have any caffeine after that time.
Yeah, so we want to share with you guys how we fuel our life with smart energy. And what we use is actually called Axio. There's caffeinated and decaf that way. And we drink the caffeinated in the morning and the decaf in the afternoon. Like I said, it's that prolonged, sustainable energy throughout the day.
With no jitters and no crash.
Oh my gosh, no jitters, no crash. It helps with the mental clarity and the focus that I mentioned before. And it helps with a positive mood, which who does not need that, right? We all need that. But some of the benefits that come along with Axio are it helps to improve mental endurance and mental acuity. It improves concentration and memory retention, increases physical and mental energy, improves positive mood. If you can't tell, I drank an Axio before we got on here. It's freaking awesome.
But you're always like that.
Yeah, well, sometimes not. It increases the brain's resilience to stress, improves information processing and attention, reduces mental fatigue and brain fog, and it's super clean formulation. There's no, it's all natural sweetener, so no added sugar. There's natural flavors, natural colors. It's non-GMO, gluten-free, low calorie, low carbs, vegan, and it is BSCG approved, which, can you explain what BSCG is?
BSCG stands for the Banned Substances Control Group, primarily focused toward athletics and athletic performance. So performance enhancing drugs. We just got over the Olympics. A lot of times during the Olympics, we hear about certain things, what type of ingredients, what type of products, what type of medications, what type of over-the-counter recreational things can you not take, because it will increase your athletic performance, giving you the leg up on your competition. And when we're talking about a global stage, it's banned. So the International Olympic Committee, the IOC, has a list of what they call banned substances. So the Banned Substances Control Group makes sure that the products that they approve don't have any ingredients on the banned substances list, so that elite, collegiate, professional, even weekend warrior athletes don't have to worry if there's any random drug tests, if there's scheduled drug tests, because there's no ingredients on the banned substance list that are in the products that the Banned Substances Control Group approves. That's why it's important. Yeah. And these products that she's talking about are approved by the Banned Substances Control Group.
And so, guys, you might be going like, but Marcy, Dundee, I love my caffeinated sugary drink.
And we get it.
Yeah, we totally do. But we would just like to offer you something. This is actually the first time we've ever been able to offer this, because it's brand new. And we wanted to give you guys the chance first, so you can actually be the very first participating in a 5-day healthy swap challenge. And what that consists of, gosh, for only $19.99. Are you kidding me? You can get 5 of the caffeinated option of the strawberry splash is the flavor, and then 5 of the decaf, the purple grape, so that you can
amazing this.
It is. It's so good. So just to give you just a little bit of a taste memory, if you ever had those amazing purple grape popsicles when you were little, or purple Jolly Ranchers, the grape Jolly Ranchers, or grape Kool-Aid is what it tastes like, but with all natural stevia leaf sweetener. Are you kidding me? But you can get all 10 of these so that you can have a 5-day experience having caffeinated option in the morning, decaf in the afternoon. See the difference in how you feel in these 5 days. We would absolutely love to invite every single one of you to participate in this 5-day challenge. You can very simply just go to dondiandmarcy.com, contact us through there, and just put in the content that you'd like information on the healthy swap.
Can I talk about some of the ingredients?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, please, would you? Yeah. Absolutely.
So purple grape and strawberry splash. The primary ingredient is purple grape and strawberries. So that's where the flavor comes from. No artificial flavors or no artificial sweeteners. So what's also in it? Quercetin. We've heard a lot about quercetin recently. Quercetin protects the cells, protects the walls or the lining of your cells. There's also B vitamins in there. B vitamins are wonderful for keeping your stress levels down, because during stress, your body burns through B vitamins and then you get sluggish. So B vitamins are an incredible way for your body to stay healthy. B vitamins are in there. DMAE for focus, concentration is in there. Pine bark extract for focus and concentration. L-theanine, unbelievable for protecting your cells and for focus and concentration. Why this is so important is because it passes through the blood-brain barrier and literally balances the neurotransmitters in your brain so that you have sustained hyper-focus, concentration, attention span. It literally affects your mood. It will affect your short-term memory, and it will also affect your motivation level because it deals with the brain. This is brain food. It is cognitive enhancer with things like L-theanine, like I said, quercetin, B vitamins, DMAE, pine bark extract, and some amazing awesomeness in the purple grape and strawberry natural flavoring.
So good.
We didn't talk about calories.
So, oh my gosh. Okay. So it is the natural stevia leaf sweetener. And so these only have 15 calories. And you can mix it. It comes in like you saw here, this, well, and if you're listening to us, this is a single serving, just little stick. And you just pour the powder into water so you can have it as strong or as diluted as you want. You can take it anywhere from 8 to 26 ounces per, if you want to, whatever you enjoy yourself.
Palate.
Per palate. Per consumption.
Per palatability.
However, right? So you can really make this to however strong or not that you want for your energy and for your brain experience. But again, we'd love to invite you to participate in the 5-day challenge. It is the healthy swap.
We didn't talk about caffeine.
Oh.
How much caffeine?
So much. We're like so much here. So guys,
in the caffeinated
version, go ahead.
There's about 100 milligrams of caffeine per stick. It's the average of a cup of coffee.
But it's green tea.
But it's green tea. 100 milligrams of caffeine on the caffeinated. On the decaf, it's about 7 milligrams, because in the decaf process, you can't take out all of it. It's about 97% caffeine free, which is about 7 milligrams of caffeine for the decaf. Now, kids, they make both of these flavors make wonderful popsicles.
Yes.
For summertime treats for the kids. If your kids have attention span, if your kids need focus, like you're like, hey, McFly, you got to knock on the head to get their attention. Popsicles made with this is unbelievable.
Yes.
Unbelievable. And the amount in a popsicle is much less than 1 stick. So it actually, the way we make about 6 popsicles per stick. So divide 100 by 6 for the caffeinated version and 7 by 6 for 7 milligrams for the decaf version. And I like the purple grape popsicles.
It's amazing.
The most.
Our granddaughter's like, can I have a popsicle for breakfast?
Absolutely,
like,
you can.
Yeah, it's good for her brain and she likes it too. So heck yes, she can. All right, guys. So the invitation is participate in the 5-day Healthy Swap Challenge. You can do that by either put Healthy Swap Challenge in the comments if you're with us on Facebook or on YouTube, or if you're listening, please go to dondiandmarcy.com, contact us through that page, and in the body of your message, put Healthy Swap Challenge.
Yeah.
And we'll get you all the details, get you hooked up, and you can have a 5-day experience that will probably change your life.
Definitely change your brain chemistry and definitely change your health.
Yes. Awesome.
All for just $19.99.
Seriously, it's a
and
deal.
Free shipping.
Yep. All right, guys. So this is episode 36 of Wellness Foreplay. We are so glad that you all joined us. We're super excited to have you join us next week for episode 37.
Yeah.
But hey, do us a favor. Share this out. Everybody needs to know about caffeine and sugar and the problems with these energy drinks and a lot of the coffees that we're consuming. Okay. If you are listening to us on the podcast, please give us a 5-star review and share this out. Make sure you follow so that you get notified when the next episode gets uploaded. All right, guys, we appreciate you.
One final thought. If you wake up tired, and maybe because you didn't get a lot of sleep, deep sleep, because of the caffeine effects from the day before, can be problematic. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you on episode 37. See ya.
Bye.